Support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications option. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatterspodcast1892@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.
Critics attack. It feels like I've been talking to myself again. But it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you. If I don't say the words, then maybe it's not true.
And it feels alright when they come and say to you, you're the only thing that makes us all believe.
Good afternoon, welcome along to NUFC Matters. It is an early start as we've got our Christmas do today, but welcome to you, George, for another episode of Ask George.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's really nice of you.
Yeah, we haven't played this for a while. Makes it all official, that, George, doesn't it?
Does, yeah.
Get your questions in. John Askew's already emailed a couple over and sent a couple in the chat, but want to get as many questions in as we can for George. From anybody, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on LinkedIn or Twitch, we can see your comments. Stick them in the comments underneath the video and we can read them. But welcome to everybody in the chat as always, and I hope everyone's fitting well. We'll start, before we get to the questions, just Eddie's press conference, really, George. Not sure whether you've seen it or heard it, but obviously we know now that Tino Livramento is got a good chance of being in the squad tomorrow and potentially in the team. That means that he's back alongside these other defender, Lewis Hall, who's obviously been back for the last couple of weeks, which is great news. Anthony Gordon going to get a late call, but it sounds very positive with regards to Anthony Gordon as well. The only dot blot in the copybook, if you like, unfortunately, is Wissa. Still no Wissa, and still, as John Gibson's been alluding to every Thursday for the last 2 or 3 weeks, there is still not really light at the end of the tunnel with Wissa. And I know that Eddie doesn't always give us the truth in his press conferences, but I don't think he's telling fibs about this one. I don't think we'll see Wissa on the bench tomorrow. I don't think Wissa will play a part. I just think it's the only thing that's disappointing. But the return of the two fullbacks is massively important, as is the return of Gordon. And Asula, of course, still out. Doesn't sound good with Asula. May have to see a specialist now, which again sounds like he could be out for a little bit more time. But what was your overall take of the presser, George?
Well, it was generally a positive thing, wasn't it? I mean, the two fullbacks is a biggie, and it's good for their careers, because I still think if they can get a good few games in before March, they could well be in the World Cup squad. Livramento particularly, because Tuchel deliberately sent Livramento to the under-21 tournament to get tournament experience. Now, there's only one reason he would do that. So I'm delighted for Tino. And, of course, Hall was playing out of his skin before he got injured. So, that great news. Great news about the others as well. And in fairness, I think it was a couple of weeks ago that Eddie went on about Wissa saying he was determined he would have a full 6 weeks run-in before he even thought about him in the team. Well, that's still got time to go. So, Eddie's been canny with that. And in some ways, that's good, because we've had once or twice, particularly with people like Botman, who came in and got a false start and ended up being out longer than ever. So we don't want that. When he comes back, we want him firing on all cylinders. But it was a reasonably positive press conference generally.
Yeah, it certainly was. And I think it's great for us to have that kind of availability again. I think it'll change the dimension. I just wish Wissa was back as well. And Gary says, was it just me or did Howe's face turn to stone when asked about Wissa going to AFCON? I think Gibbo said there still isn't an agreement yet. I've just been having a cuppa with my dad, to be honest, George. And my dad is in this. He just basically said, oh, no Wissa again this weekend. You know, he says, you know what's going to happen. He's going to get fit just in time to go to AFCON.
Well,
it certainly feels like that, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and the problem with that is that we and he don't have any option now. If he's picked, then he has to go. Otherwise, we stand to be fined by FIFA. I mean, they're paying with compensation at the moment because of his injury. Well, you can guarantee they'll want money if he doesn't go or if he's picked. So that's the danger that he gets picked and he has to go. I still think though that if within a few days of being picked, he's still not fit enough to play for us, I think the powers that be here would quickly write a sick note to get him excused. At least I hope they would anyway. But it's a dilemma, Steve. No doubt about it. Your dad's absolutely right. It's a dilemma. And as I say, nowadays, you see, he could actually, in days gone by, the player could actually say, well, I'm not coming. Or we could say, no, we're not releasing him. We cannot now. The rules with FIFA are pretty plain, and the fines are quite substantial, I understand. So we don't want to get into that sort of mess with FIFA or anybody else for that matter.
No, we certainly don't. Okay, yes, Steve Middlemas, good morning. He says, Wissa's injury is more than what the club are saying. It's another long road. I think it's a strange one, Steve Middlemas, because I'd never heard of a PCL. I'm no doctor. I'd never heard of a PCL. I've heard of ACLs until the cows come home. I'd never heard of a PCL. And then suddenly, Wissa has a PCL, which apparently isn't as bad as an ACL, but if it's not treated properly, can be worse than an ACL. So it's very much like the David Beckham metatarsal thing we went through during the World Cup, where everyone's now suddenly saying PCL and going, what the hell is that? So strange scenario. Let's get to John Askew's questions. Is the Sunderland game at the back of your mind, George?
Oh yes, all the time, I'm afraid, John. You couldn't be a Magpie supporter, and from the moment the fixture was announced, it's been in the back of my mind, as you know what's been happening both sides of the river since it happened. So for me, yeah, it's in the back of my mind, and as I say, it has been since the fixtures were drawn.
Okay, next question. How do Newcastle United create more chances with the current squad?
Good question, because it's a dilemma. There's no question about it. You see, I've said on here, and I noticed the other night John Gibson was saying on here that in some of the ones that go internationals and Valdemar's the one that's in currently, but so's Tonali, and I've watched the Italians playing, and when Tonali's in that team, he's a far more dangerous player for them than he seems to be for us. I mean, he's excellent for us, don't get me wrong, he's excellent, but the way the Italians use him, he's far more dangerous and more likely to score goals than we see. And similarly with Valdemar, the other night, I mean, he's 2 games for Germany, he scored 3 goals, all excellent goals, but the 2 the other night were created by his teammates, but it was his hard running from deep that finished them off. And I just hope and pray that Eddie and his team look at those videos and think of how we can do that, because we've got similar sort of players. We've got pace to burn on the wing, whether it's Gordon or Barnes and Elanga or Murphy. There's pace to burn on the wings, and even for filling in from mid, the Ramsey is quite a pacey player as well, and it seems as though that Valdemar thrives on that kind of through ball. So that's the kind of thing I'd be looking at. They've got to work out a plan that A, we get the benefit of the pace from the wings, and B, he gets the benefit of the deep crosses that come in. Because for Germany, before the last two games, Germany were nowhere in the World Cup. Suddenly, the German press are talking about them having a chance of winning it. Why? Because of Wissa. This is a bloke that the German papers were saying we're wasting my money for. Well, suddenly he's the hero. And if you see what he's done, yeah, you can understand why. So I'd like to see a bit more of that. And I was pleased to hear John Gibson say that the other night on your show, that, why he hoped that they were looking deeply at these videos. And the same with Tonali as well. Tonali plays in a much more direct and forward plays for Italy than he does for us. And hence he becomes far more dangerous. He scored some dynamic goals for them. And again, the Italian press rave about the Newcastle Machina, the Newcastle machine, as they call him. And everybody got worried when he was sent back from the squad. Well, the Italians only sent him back because they didn't want him to get booked, because they want him for the playoff. And it's coming up. So it wasn't that he was injured. It was just they were playing canny. They were playing easy peasy for themselves. So yes, there are things they can do. It's a good question, and the one certainly Eddie and his team have to answer. Otherwise, we're going to waste a talented young man. We can't afford to do that.
Yeah, I'm laughing at some of the other accounts on social media as well now, coming out with what we've been saying all week, really, which is, he got sent home because he's on a booking and they don't want to miss him for the playoff game that they've got to play. So it's good. It was good management by the Italians. Jersey Mag, good afternoon. He says, do you think Wissa will only be made available after Congo have announced and finalised his squad? Congo have now qualified for the World Cup.
Well, it's got to be wrapped up in it, hasn't it? Because he's a Congo player, one of their stars, and sadly it was playing for them that he got injured, and a stupid injury. It wasn't a kick. It was one of these injuries like Botman's. He landed awkwardly after a long run, and that's what caused the problem he's got. But his position with Congo is entirely wrapped up in what he can do and can't do for us. Because as I've just said earlier, nowadays the rules are very, very strict. And if he's picked, he's got to go. It wouldn't surprise me if he was picked and had to go and was sent home. I think that would be the compromise that might work. They have a look at him themselves and then decide, well, don't let's risk it, because he's they've been forking out quite a lot of compensation for his previous injury, so I don't think they would want that to go on too much longer. So I think it's possible he could actually be picked and called, but then sent home very quickly. But you're right, it is a dilemma. Whatever happens to him and the Congo is wrapped up in what happens to us. We're stuck with it, sadly.
Yeah, I would agree, George, as well. What will be, will be. We've just got to put up with it. We knew what we were getting when we bought the guy, and we've just got to accept it. That's the situation we're in. Gary did ask a question, which I can change slightly, because it does. We've already asked about formation. Who would you like to see up front, George, on Saturday? Is what Gary asked. Now, we've only got two options at the moment. We've got Anthony Gordon, who's played there before, or we play the big man. We play Big Nick. Who would you like to see play up front? Bearing in mind that Man City last season, Newcastle United played Gordon up front, and he did rather well.
But I'd play Big Nick. I wouldn't want to do anything that would dent his confidence. And I would still like him there. He does he still does. I mean, people criticise him coming so deep, but if you look at the things he does when he comes deep, his link-up play is phenomenal, and some of the touches that have led to goals. I'm thinking particularly Gordon's goal against Tottenham, was it? He was instrumental in that goal because he was in that place at that time. It has the ability to have that nice flick on, that sensible flick on, not just a blind back heel. He's got the wit to know where his colleagues are. So I would still want him there. Plus, his ability in the air is outstanding. Again, against Tottenham, that cushioned header of his, with a goalkeeper punching nearby and a defender as well, and he still had the ability to cushion that ball so it dropped in the net. Where just minutes later or minutes before, Elanga had a header that went up into the back end of the Gallagher end, the row Z. So we need that ability as well. So I would stick with Big Nick.
Okay, Tom Dixon, good afternoon. He says, ask George, how long do you think it'll be until we see Wissa play?
Well, that's Tom. That's the $64,000 question everybody's asking. I think that in the Newcastle team, I don't think he'll play until decisions are made about whether or not he's going to the AFCON. That's the decision that has to be made first, in my view. And if Newcastle are negotiating or the Congo are saying, well, let's have a look at him and we'll decide, we just got to live with that. That's the frustrating thing. The days have gone when clubs or players could make these decisions. It's now in the hands of the people who want to play him. That's the Congo at the moment. So I don't think we'll see him until that issue's sorted out.
Okay, John Askew says, we've asked this before, but the question still applies. What action can be taken to force a level financial playing field in the Premier League, which allows clubs to progress? It's still our biggest problem.
Yes, well, yesterday's discussions about the change in PSR rules to something else, and already we've got people kicking back. You know, we've got the players' union, for example, threatening strike action if they touch the salary cap, if they bring in a salary cap, which is part of what the Premier League's thinking of doing. So it's still a mess. I hate to say it, but until I get some people with a large amount of common sense and some football knowledge in running the game, we're always going to have these ups and downs. Plus, the big six, or whatever they like to call themselves, having so much influence, so much pull. When they sort that out, then we might have a chance. And this ridiculous ruling that things can only be changed if there's 14 votes for, and that's just a nonsense. Whatever. God's sake, even in two world wars, Parliament had to change its voting statute because there weren't enough people to vote, and that's when we got this business about the chairman having a second vote on committees and things like that. In the Premier League, you don't need the chairman to have a second vote. He's got 14 bloody votes. So I think the Premier League needs sorted out big style. And I'm brutally honest, I think I've said on here before and elsewhere that if it came to a push came to shove, I think the person that could probably sort it out is Amanda Staveley, but that's just my jaundiced view of the world. But until I sort that out, these new things that they're proposing that balance what clubs earn against what they're allowed to spend sound great in reality, but to be that way, it's got to affect players' wages. And already the players' union are saying, touch your wage cap and we'll be after you, we'll be on strike, we'll be pulling things back. So before the new rules are even implemented, the important people, the players, already saying, not for me. it's just a mess. And the Premier League's, really needs sorted out from top to bottom, and then think sensibly about what they're going to do.
Many in the fan base would like to see Ramsdale in goal, and not just for the Carabao Cup. What does George think?
Oh, I can't renege on some of the things I've said over weeks gone by. I think when it comes to being the shot stopper, Nick Pope, is difficult to beat. But there are other deficiencies like his ability to kick and all that sort of thing. And recently he's gone back to this ridiculous punching of his. I thought he'd cured himself of that, where the couple of games that Ramsdale's had, and particularly the one against Spurs in the Carabao Cup, he's been outstanding. That's the only way you describe it. In fact, I think after that game, he actually earned a shot of the jersey. So I would be inclined at this stage to at least give Ramsdale a run to see how he performs. He too is shown to be a good shot stopper, but he's much more alert with his distribution and his kicking and all the rest of it. So, I mean, I would give Ramsdale a go, but I don't think they will. Eddie Howe sticks to his guns when it comes to loyalty, and he seems very loyal to Nick Pope.
Gary comes in with this one. George, we've got two defenders who have good records against shutting Haaland out, Shaw and Lascelles. Would you play either in the game tomorrow?
I certainly would play Shaw because I think he's the one that's got the gameplay. Jamal Lascelles wouldn't let us down either, but I think it's such a long time that he played a full game in the first team. It would be risky. Where Shaw's, on the metal, and I would like to see Fabian Shaw on the side.
Probably my favourite question of the year so far. This comes from Dave, only because it's in the context that he's such a big Nick Pope fan. Question for George: when Ramsdale does get his shot and concede a few, as is likely, who do we want in goal next? Gillespie or Ruddy? That's brilliant.
Well, every time I hear the name John Ruddy, I shudder because having done those were the days for the last 20 odd years. And the one name that comes across through all of them nearly is John Ruddy, from his days as a teenager at Norwich all the way through his career, right up to now when he's our coach. So I'm not surprised John Ruddy got a mention. As soon as you talk about goalkeeper, John Ruddy's in there somewhere. So it's an interesting question. The real answer, though, is that we're lucky to have two good shot stoppers. There's no question about that. I mean, I'm not backtracking, but it's hard to deny that Nick Pope is a good shot stopper. He does have his, very, very talented at stopping close range shots and all the rest of it. Where he falls down is that he's lapsed back into some of this, what he calls punching, I call flapping. It's cost her. It really has. So yeah. But it's an interesting question. You're absolutely right. You tout for somebody and it goes wrong, and you've got to find somebody else. Who would it be? Well, I suppose people could say, well, why didn't we buy Trafford? That would be a backward step for me.
Yeah, I mean, we're back in for him according to some of the media. I mean, Barry's list. Barry's started a list already. 26 players on there. James Trafford's on there. So it is interesting. Just let everybody know as well. We will be slipping in Rob's music review today because obviously we didn't get a chance to do Talk of the Tune this week. Rob's kindly sent one over. It's going to be on just after the advert. Steve says, if Eddie plays Burn at left back, is Eddie risking losing fans' confidence in the future? Well, he can't do it tomorrow because he's suspended, of course. But yeah, I mean, it's just, Eddie will do what Eddie does, and football tends not to work out the way we think it'll work out, does it?
And to be perfectly honest, Dan Burn is an easy target, in my view. because he's one of these players. If Eddie Howe said, Dan, you're in goal this week, Dan Burn would go in goal. Dan, you're centre forward this week, Dan would be centre forward. He's one of those players that just wants to be in the team, wants to do the best for the team. And if you look carefully at some of the games where he's had a roasting, or roasted from the fans, he hasn't made that many mistakes. It's the difficulty he's got. He doesn't look very good once he's turned and he's chasing, because he's that yard short. But sometimes his big legs get him out of that. So I'm not I wouldn't like to see him at left back, because he's not a natural left back. But if you want somebody who's in the team, in the defence, who's going to jolly everybody else along and organise people, Dan Burn's the man. You want to look at Dan Burn when he plays for England, how he pushes the defence around when they're setting up for corners and this sort of thing. And listen to what Thomas Tuchel says about Dan Burn, how he values him in the squad, not just on the field, but in the squad for his leadership and training, that sort of thing. Those kind of players are hard to come by. We're lucky to have a Dan Burn, in my opinion. The fact he's a Geordie's double luck. So, no, I wouldn't necessarily want to see him at left back. But if we're stuck, we're stuck, and that's the end of it. Hopefully, it's not going to be an issue, because Lewis Hall's back, and we can rely on him doing the business.
Yeah, hopefully we can. Question, George, again, this is another good one. He says, this is from John, purely hypothetical, but I'd be interested in your view anyway, George. Would we be more advanced with our project if Amanda and Amir Dad hadn't left?
Oh dear, that's a good one. Whether it would be more advanced, I think we would, is my humble opinion, because there have been silly things happening which shouldn't have happened, which Amanda wouldn't have let happen. I don't think for 1 minute, if she and me and Dad had been around, we'd had all this rubbish with the guy that went to Liverpool. I struggle to speak his name. It sticks in my throat. But I don't think we'd have got that far. Something else would have happened. And other little things that have happened, that the pandemonium that's come out of directors of football is totally unnecessary. I mean, I was worried about Mitchell when he came in, because when you looked at his CV, he'd never been in a job more than 3 years. Well, he's joining a club that's got a 5-year project. So what does that say to you? And sure enough, 12 months, less than 12 months, he's gone. I think some of the things that happened in the team there are the sort of things that Amanda was good at sticking her nose in and sorting out. Look at Joe Linton's contract. The bloke that went to Manchester United, the Joe Linton's contract was going on and on and on. And the fortnight after what's his name joined Manchester United, Amanda had sorted it. It was done. So whether we'd been further on is always a debate. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. But my view is that things would have been a little bit smoother. We wouldn't have been guessing all the time. Plus, I think we might have been better informed as a group of fans if she'd still been here. Her and me and Dad had still been here. But that's what if. She's not, and we've got to get on with it. But I do like the way the new CEO's come in. He's 100 days. He's not just talking about it. He's actually already doing things, and you can see he's doing things. Now that's far better than his predecessor. So
would we be better if Howe got the team that he'd originally wanted? Ekatike, Minte, Anderson, says Prosaic.
Oh, that would have been good. I mean, I have an old argument that says that when will Eddie Howe end up with the team he really wants all the time, instead of still picking the people that used to play for Bruce? It would have been different, that's for sure. And if you look at the way Ekitike has hit the ground running for Liverpool. You can't help but think if they'd done that for us, it would have been certainly exciting to watch. Eddie Howe would have encouraged. I mean, Eddie Howe was a great liker of him, and we chased him for a couple of years before he decided where he was going and didn't come here, but then had 2 years in the wilderness at PSG. So yes, it's hindsight, isn't it? It's a wonderful thing. But if you just go on the fact that how well he's played, hit the ground running for Liverpool. If he'd done that for us, it would have been exciting at least.
I was up for the cricket, Alan. And by the way, what a great test match that has been. What a start to the day one. I know a lot of you don't like cricket, but I always watch the Ashes. And the beauty of it being in Perth is that, yes, I missed the first innings, but I managed to get the second half of the day by getting up. I'm always an early riser. I'm up at 6. So I got 5 hours of cricket today. And I got the best because I got to see the Aussies getting skittled. Were you up, George? Did you get a chance to watch it?
Yeah, I like Test cricket. Test cricket is a different game to some of the others. All of these short form games where they're just swinging the bat at the ball and hitting it out of the ground is interesting, and some people think it's exciting. I old fashioned 5-day Test cricket is a different animal altogether because it depends on so much concentration as well as ability, and it finds modern players out. And that's what's happened to the Australians, in my opinion, this morning, because they're all big swipers in the Australian league now. You know, they don't have a league in the sense that we have anymore. All their short form games are short innings and big swipes. So, and I think that's what's caught them out this morning. So, yeah, Test cricket is a different game, and I like it very much. I've got to say that years ago when I was a teenager, I used to quite often go and see Northumberland and Durham when they were in the minor counties, and Northumberland sitting at Jesmond on a sunny day, watching Northumberland playing Wiltshire and places like that was great. And of course, there were 1 or 2 players who I knew because they were footballers as well. People like Joe Thulis, who was could have been a Newcastle centre forward, but chose to play cricket, and he was great for Northumberland. So yeah, I got up and watched it because it's 5-day Test cricket is a different animal altogether than any of these short forms. Do I need to mention some of the short forms? Of course, the 100, for example, was invented by a man called Dan Ashworth, who we know really well.
We do. We are halfway through the show. Time for the ad.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com. Contact them at www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. You can find them at their website, mrvickies.co.uk. Email info@mrvickies.co.uk or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to our fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. 2 crew driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels and no interchanges. Hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach, all excursions included. Their website, unitedgrouptravel.com. Email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com. Telephone 01670 632 460 or 0791 666 4174. Just £30 per person deposit. Thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And if you like listening to us as a podcast, you can go to Sports Social Podcast Network or to iTunes, Spotify, or other podcast providers. If you want to support the show, then hit the subscribe button. It's free. We do 7 shows a week. Hit the little thumb up under the video, which is the like button, or click share to share to your social media. You can also join the channel on YouTube by hitting the join button for as little as $1.99 a month. If you want to become an NUFC Matters member, you can go to nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. It's a £25 one-off fee. You get your pen, you get your badge, a key ring, you get your beer mat and your fridge magnet and your membership card, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk for that. And we have an event early next year, 13th of February 2026, an evening with Beardsley, Waddle and Gascoigne takes place at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House. To buy your tickets for that event, go to the box office 0191 243 1171 or Tyne Theatre and Opera House.uk.
Hi everyone, this is my pre-record for this week. Firstly, before I go any further, if anyone's going to the event on Friday, the Warren Barton evening at Tyneside Irish Centre, there will be lots of raffles there, and can I please ask people to dig deep for dementia? It means a lot to me, obviously a lot to Steve and for the whole community. Dig deep and support, get behind what we're doing. Much appreciated. So moving on, the album I'm doing really reminded me of when I was at college back then, when it was a little oink. I remember before we went out, we used to set the video recorder, tape the young ones, go to the alternative clubs, walk home, got home about 5 in the morning. I would sleep on my mate's bedroom floor, the bowl of Weetabix, watching the young ones, and then listen to this band. Yeah, Girl Power, as far as I can see, and the originals at it from Birmingham. The Brummies, I mean, if you remember the programme, Alvida's Pet, I'm sure everybody does. I mean, I don't know who would have the full album on vinyl signed by Bill Pattison. I don't know. But yeah, I remember Barry Taylor, he said Boston. So the album is Boston, Steve Austin, by the lovely, beautiful, glorious Fuzzbox. Now, I only realised recently, I thought the Fuzzbox was meaning the distortion effect, but it's not. Very, I'd say, I don't know the word feminist, I don't know, but they're very, very strong and very opinionated. So yeah, Fuzzbox wasn't the guitar effect. So I've decided just to pick some songs from this. I'm not going to go through 12 of them because they're very, very samey. Good fun, great laugh, brilliant. I loved the look, I loved the videos and all that went with it. So Fuzzbox from Birmingham 1985. You had Vicky on vocals, Mags keyboard and bass, Joe guitar, Tina on drums. So I'm going to start with Love is a Slug. I think I have it here. That's what's the point. There we go. So this is a 12-inch version of it, and I remember buying it and turning it over, and I thought I had never seen this done before by any band, but etched. I think bands do it now, but this does look like somebody's done it at school with a compass. Yeah, Love is a Slug. It's a song about how guys treat the band members or in general after relationships split up, but it's really good. It's a fun video. Please watch it. I'm sure nobody's seen the videos because they were rarely played back then. The dancing on it, I think Peter Crouch would be delighted with. Heavy Fuzzbox on this, really a decent saxophone playing on it as well. The vocals and harmonies, they're good, they're alternative, they're different, they make you smile, and it's very good fun. This was like their debut single, and it is a song about boy meets girl and, you know, the bitterness when it ends, you know, after all I took from you and this is how you treat me now, that sort of thing. Good song though. Then you've got Spirit in the Sky, which I've just realised I don't have on vinyl. Rachel, you wanted suggestions for Christmas. Spirit in the Sky, 12-inch single by Fuzzbox, please. Thank you, Secret Santa. Yeah, Spirit in the Sky, it's it's unreal. I don't know if you're allowed to say insane nowadays, but it's a bit crazy. Really, again, fuzz distortion, obviously, and the drums are just. We all know the song "Spirit in the Sky." This one, it's so much better than Gareth Gates and the Kumars version, if you remember that right. It was originally done by Norman Greenbaum in 1969. 1969, good year. Great song by Iggy Pop. 1969, great song. Yeah, it's really good. We all know the song. I mean, they changed some of the lyrics to it. It's just fun. Again, watch the video. There's a great version of it on the Old Grey Whistle Test. It's one of those bands that probably everybody forgot about. I think there's two that have passed. There's two left. I think Mags and Tyne are still with us. They still do stuff, like they do Pontins, Butlins, and they've done Gothic Whitby weekend as well. Still having fun. You know, that's what it's all about. And a lot of people forget about that. There is a song I'm not going to cover. It's called XX Sex. But it's about pay less attention to the packaging and listen to the voice. If you see what I mean now. That sort of now makes sense. And it's talking about not liking page 3, pornography, that sort of thing. So it's pushed back. Great song though. I love that song. It's really, really good. Then you got What's the Point? 12-inch version of that. I mean, look at that. Fun, isn't it? You know, innocent teenagers, as we all were once upon a time. Fuzzbox, they're, you know, the crazy band. Brilliant. Great laugh. Brilliant fun. Great song. Good piano in this one. In your face drumming. Really, I love the drumming on it. It's simple. It's basic. There's a lot of floor toms and a lot of rack toms getting used on it, which is brilliant. I put that in my notes as they are the OG original girl band, the girl power, 100%. Brilliant having it with Fuzzbox. It'd be brilliant. What a laugh. Again, fun video. It's a bit like Queen, I Want to Break Free, but sort of in reverse. Very good video. Again, watch it. I mean, there's only 2 or 3 videos I'm asking you to watch. Please, YouTube it. So you go, What's the Point by Fuzzbox, Love is a Slug, Spirit in the Sky, and Rules and Regulations 4. 4 songs just to watch. Was that 15 minutes out of your day? It's great though. It's a really, really good guitar solo on this as well. Again, strong women lyrics, which it should be, and it is brilliant, brilliant guitar solo as well on this song by Joe. Really, he's quite a good guitar player. So the last one, Rules and Regulations, is this one. I love the covers. I love the artwork as well. It's just brilliant. Again, crazy studio. It's like they've had the friends come round. Can you do a video for us? Bring your old phones or your, we'll take it with super snaps and make a video of it. It's just funny. It's all over the place, but that's what I love about it. I really, really do. To me, this is when music was fun. I mean, the songs, there must be more to life than this. Rules and regulations keep your mind at bay. Stuff like that. It's like anti-school, anti-life, anti-politics, anti-work, anti-relationships, and that sort of thing. Is brilliant, brilliant song. So yeah, that's the review. But a great album. Obviously, Boston, Steve Austin. So naturally, you have Steve Austin there. Great album. So much memories. Being 16 to 20, and asking the DJ if he had any of these on record, so I could jump up and down like a madman. You remember this one as well, probably. International Rescue, if you remember that. That's when I think the record companies got the paws on them and made them more glossy. Yeah. And had Self as well. That was another one. Pink Sunshine. It wasn't for me when I went down that direction. It was more, obviously, the first album, the early album. Brilliant, brilliant. And another fun song as well, Rocking with Rita. If you like the Cramps, that sort of thing. Birthday Party. Sid, if you're watching, Rocking with Rita by Fuzzbox. Watch the video. Very, very good. Very, very good video indeed. So that's the review done. But again, if you're going on Friday to Tyneside Irish Centre for the Warren Barton evening, dig deep, please. Dig deep. Donate. Do what you can. Spread the word. Share. It's massively close to me. It's a charity that means the most to me personally, so I have donated. So yeah, and I look forward to hearing what you made, and have a brilliant night. Be safe, have good fun, have a good laugh, meet new people, and just be safe and look after one another. That's it. And next week, I'm running out of options, so the first person in the comments, whoever leaves a request for me, I will do it. The first person, but I need a wee bit more inspiration now, especially after I've pretty much covered a lot of what I like during my Halloween spell. But yes, thank you for watching. Again, like, share, subscribe, etc. And have a fantastic Friday. Cheers for now.
Thank you, Rob, as always. And Rob has kindly donated. This is quite unbelievable. He's gone out and purchased and sent numerous Newcastle United shirts, current Newcastle United shirts, the actual home shirt, in a variety of sizes. And he sent them down to us, and they've arrived in time for tonight. So that will be the raffle prizes tonight. So if you're coming along and you haven't got a Newcastle shirt and you're a 2XL or an XL or a medium or a large, we've got one. And we'll be able to give them away in the raffle tonight. We've got loads of other little bits and bobs. And please remember, if you are coming, bring a tenner in cash to buy our promoter and photographer book, because that's 100% profit to the charity as well. George just bought 2. I'm bringing George's tonight. And Singe, the photographer, is actually going to come along tonight. Me and him are going to do a little bit on the mic, talk a little bit about the book. Obviously, we've got Adam Henderson coming along and playing an acoustic set. He's got his new single out. Sid's coming to DJ. And of course, you've got Warren and Joe Allen as well doing a little talking on the stage. It's going to be a cracking night. Danny Mitchell's coming along with some memorabilia. So if you're looking for a Christmas present or two, you can do that. I'm going to bring a few bits of signed memorabilia along as well, which you can buy. And we'll be giving a percentage of all sales tonight as well to the charity. We'll have a couple of raffles on the go as well. So all in all, it's going to be a good night. And I just want to thank everybody for, there's a couple of people in the chat bought the Shearer ball. And a couple of other people bought it who don't watch the show on a regular basis. But I'm pleased to say this morning I have transferred over £1,000 to Age UK North Tyneside Dementia. And a big thank you to Alan Shearer, who was kind enough to sign the balls, which had been sitting in my shed for about 2.5 years, gathering dust, spiders in the bag, the lot. I inflated them all, rang Alan up and went up to his house, and he signed all the balls for us, and we've managed to raise, in the space of a week, £1,000 for Age UK, and I've transferred that over today. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody who took part in that. Right, let's get back to a few more questions before we finish off today. This is another one from John Askew. The Alanga situation seems to have split the fan base, George, but regardless of off-field issues, it's fair to say he hasn't hit the ground running. Does the situation highlight the need to ensure we do everything to ensure that every penny we spend is spent wisely? I really hope the lad comes good, preferably sooner rather than later.
Yeah, the Alanga thing is a one that needs to be thought about carefully. Of all the players that we thought about buying when we bought him, I think everybody, including me, thought, wow, if he hits the ground running like he was at Nottingham Forest, he's going to be a world beater for us as well. But then when you read that his wife's heavily pregnant, that they're moving, all the things that you and I would find extremely stressful, apart from our daily job. And I think footballers are human beings, and I think that's where he is. The positive things for me is that he still gets in good positions. I mean, he's in the last couple of games he's got on, and even against Spurs in the Carabao Cup, he had opportunities to score that I think normally he would put away, but it just went the wrong way or went over the top or whatever. So I think the watchword with the Langer, I think, is patience, and I think he will come good. He's too good a player to disappear, surely. So I think it's a bit of patience we need with the Langer, and the odd run out he gets as a sub will help. What will help well is if he hits the back of the net, of course, that would be the important thing. But patience, everybody. I think that's what young Alanga needs is support at home and patience. Is to how quickly he can perform for us as he did for Nottingham Forest. Don't forget, he comes with a huge CV. I mean, he was the best assist in the Premiership last year, and Chris Wood scored over 20 goals. And I don't think the two things aren't connected, because I certainly think they are. So patience, folks. It'll happen. I'm convinced it'll happen.
Okay, confidence from George there. Who's this? Gary says, in relation to Darren mentioning the Queen song, Who Wants to Live Forever, George, Steve, do you have a song that every time you hear it, it either makes you emotional or makes you stop and think? Well, that's a good question, Gary. I have a few. I think anything by Fleetwood Mac, because it reminds us of me mum, Gary. I'm going to say Fleetwood Mac and Joan Armatrading. Two artists, and I'm not going to pick a particular song because I think anything from The Chain, but any of those very recognised commercial Joan Armatrading songs, those are the ones that probably make me feel emotional. It's quite useful if I've got to cry on camera, Gary, for a film or a television programme. It helps you with your emotional development when you're becoming emotional to do stuff. So yeah, that's for me, mate. Getting a few suggestions in already. Your song saved my life. You too, from Darren. Springsteen, Garden from Dean. What about you, George? I would imagine you and Marjorie probably had a song.
Yes, we did. And as we're talking about the dementia charity, I mean, those that don't know, I'm sure you will know, is that I lost my Marjorie to Alzheimer's. And that was 7 years of my life I wouldn't want to repeat. But 7 years of my life I devoted to the person I loved. And to the end, the positive thing that came out of it, that she turned to music. And believe it or not, every night before she slept, she used to like to listen to music. And her era was country and rock. And so all the Elvis Presley love songs, Are You Lonesome Tonight, for example, and that is very tearful for me. But she liked country too. And Hank Williams was a favourite. And her favourite, and we used to sing as a duet in bed, believe it or not, when she was going to sleep, was He's Got to Go. Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone. I think you'll all know that, despite how badly I've sung it. And that was her favourite. And so how many nights we used to sing that before she went to sleep, because it suited her, because she liked it. And of course, the other thing about music and Marjorie during that period of illness, she used to love all the music on here. I used to get a great laugh watching her rocking her chair when all the music was on, and particularly the one for I Met, the piece of music that people think's horrible. My Marjorie thought that was lovely. So yes, there's lots of music which brings a tear to my eye, and connected very much with dementia as well now. So yes, I have to say this. The other thing is that this last 2 weeks with all the internationals, the way in which different countries abuse or use the national anthems has amused me as well. But the Scots win there as well, because the rendition of Flower of Scotland, you'd have to be made of stone for that not to make the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. So yeah, lots of music which upsets me and encourages me.
Okay, good stuff. Good question, that as well. Greatest playing back. Run Rig played at my dad's funeral, says Alan. Velvet Morning by the Verve, says Dean. And yeah, lots of great stuff coming in. So thank you for interacting with that one. The mags like me need a whiff of the Nest Cafe sometimes, says John. We're doing okay in the Champions League. Might be in a cup semi-final come Christmas. We've injuries to key players, and thanks to PSR, it's really no surprise we're struggling in the league, due in part to a number of games we're playing. It's far from an even playing field, as the Six have a far stronger squad and more recent experience of European football. I thought at the beginning of the season the league campaign might be a challenge, and perhaps not a surprise it's turned out that way. And competing in the Champions League with a Fulham home quarter-final coming up isn't exactly the stuff of nightmares. Is a dose of realism appropriate, George?
Yeah, I mean, realism, yes, but we're where we are, and if you look at the record, we're about where we were last year, and look what happened last year. So I'm the eternal optimist. As one of our football friends says, I'm delusional. Well, if I'm delusional, I'm happy to be delusional when it comes to Newcastle United, and I'm in good company with Stu Pennon and others. So dose of reality doesn't do any of us any harm. But at the end of the day, for Newcastle United, I'm still the greedy little duck. I want it all. Yeah, I want the league and 2 cups, but I know that's not realistic. But if pressed, that's where I go. So yeah, a touch of reality sometimes does all of us a bit of good, and I think the last 2 away games have certainly been that, a touch of reality, a very painful touch of reality, because people who were performing out of their skin suddenly disappeared, and that's very painful. So let's hope they've got that out of their system, and we start to turn a corner tomorrow night.
Is tomorrow's game all about the response and performance rather than the result? I'm greedy though. I want 3 points, says Gary.
Well, you're talking to the original greedy little duck. Yes, my forecast was a win, as you probably know, and I comfort myself with knowing that if the players have got their heads in the right place and they follow the instructions that Eddie Howe sets out for them, we can beat anybody at St James's Park, particularly at night under the lights with the right atmosphere. And I'm still hopeful that it won't just be a good atmosphere and a good performance tomorrow night. It'll be 3 points as well.
Okay, yeah, got to be optimistic. Always optimistic. George, where do you think we'll finish? Says Steve Middlemiss. Hopefully with more signings in January, he adds.
I'd be disappointed if we're not kicking around 4th place by the end of the season.
Okay, 4th place. From 3 games, I expect 4 points bonus if we get something tomorrow, says Darren. We've reached the end of the show. Thank you to Rob for submitting his piece for today. Thank you for you all watching in the afternoon. We had to do it early because, of course, we're at the Christmas do tonight. Great to hear Johnny Allen is coming along. He's picking George up tonight. It's going to be a good crowd of us there. Steve Hasty as well. Looking forward to it. You can still buy tickets, last-minute tickets. If you haven't already got your ticket for the Warren Barton night tonight, then jump online, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk, and get yourself along. Our next get-together, of course, will be in January after that. We'll have a post-Christmas get-together with Supermac and Gibbo. Tickets are available on voucher for £19. We can get them maybe for a Christmas present. Don't forget as well, download the Blade and Races, Fallon Male Voice Choir. If you haven't already, it's only 99p on all musical downloads, and the money is going straight to the charity. George, thanks for your time as always. Look forward to seeing you tonight.
Is it worth floating the captain's idea at the moment, Steve, or will we leave that one another time?
Yeah, probably. Let's do it on a show where we've got a few more watching, George.
Right.
We've done it. We've done a couple of shows for those with the days about captains. What we're looking for, guys, is your suggestions for George to review. The problem is we've already recorded 2 shows, and I'm a bit concerned that you're going to send in repetitions. So what we'll do is we'll ask on maybe the Amigos. We'll get as many as we can. George is going to write the names down, and we'll see what we'll come up with. But we'll do that on another show, George.
Okay.
Take care,
Thanks
guys.
for watching, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, George.
Bye. See you all tonight.